it's MK and I am here with another Shimmerz Paints design team layout for you guys, and I'm using today's prompt for Scraptember 2023, which is tearing paper, which is something I love to do. All right, for my Shimmerz products, I have colorings Freshly Squeezed, colorings Scarlet's Fever, and colorings My Bleeding Heart. I also have two little paint pots right here. One is Creamies in Thunderstorm, and the other one is Shimmerz in Coal. So I'm going to be doing some altering, I guess. I have two Martha Stewart punches. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, but I have the spider webs and the drippy goo. I also have this washi tape because I'm not sure if the strips of paper that I picked out is going to work, so I'm going to see if I need that or not. I have two acrylic pieces from Some Assemblage Required. One is the Messy Hands and the other one is the Toxic symbol. I have a couple scraps of black cardstock from various manufacturers that I'm going to map my photos with, and I have 8 photos, I believe. Yes. I also have a couple bats. I think some of them were from a cut file. The other ones were fussy cut from a Stampin' Up! Paper. I have some Dottie About Flair that I'm going to try to use up because I just keep finding them all over the place. I'd like to add this word Spooktacular into my layout somewhere. I also have these labels from the sticker sheet from Simple Stories, something Gatherings. Can't remember now. And then from last year's Halloween collection, I would like to use the word Halloween, but I know I've used up most of these elements. So I want to see what else is in there that I can use. A couple, maybe those orange hearts. I'm not really sure. I have these skulls that were in just a bin that was gifted to me from somebody that was no longer interested in their scrapbooking stuff. A super old, close to my heart chipboard piece. I mean, just random bits and pieces, you guys. This sticker is also super old, close to my heart. I have this 31 left over from the Bramble Fox collection. I think it said October, and then there was 2 31s. I'm not really sure, but that was the last little bit. And then I have lots and lots of scrap paper. Some's close to my heart. Some is Stampin' Ups. I think that's it. I think they are all Stampin' Up! And close to my heart. These border strips, I believe, are all close to my heart. And then that orange piece of paper was an uber old Die Cuts with a View piece. So, and I even think this glitter paper is from Stampin' Up! Yes, it has to be because it's not double-sided. No, I don't think any glitter paper is double-sided, now that I say that out loud. And then from Simple Stories, last year's Halloween collection, I have these 2 gray pieces. This is the collection. It's vintage October 31st, and that's where the little page elements came from as well. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off my branding strips because I do want to make this a 2-page layout. I just don't know how I want the patterns to look because I do have so many photos that I'm going to add. And these are just photos of the decorations. I love decorating for Halloween. It's probably one of my favorite decorating the house holidays. My kids are a little bit too old to go trick-or-treating, dress up super cute, things like that. So pretty much the only thing that I get to document for Halloween is decorating for it. I do live right across the street from a major event that goes on during that holiday. And so I do like to, when my kids aren't going over there and walking the crowd, I do like to, open my door and trick or treat, give out trick or treaters, and mostly it's family and friends, but I'm okay with that. It's still fun to see everybody's cute little costumes, especially the grandkids. All right, so I'm going to alter all of my hands, but I decided that I needed to make them a unique, a standard color. So I decided to gesso them all. Now I was going to keep my red hand red because that was my end goal, is to make all the hands red. I wanted them to look like, those little bloody handprints that you see on creepy TV shows. Now that I say it out loud, it's not so cool. But that's my end goal, is I want to make all of my hands red. And so I'm going to start by painting them gesso. or painting them with this white gesso that I have. And I do end up coloring the gesso in the end, just to help me out just a little bit, because it was a little bit too pink when I was doing just white gesso and then adding the red to the top. And then I do end up taking that coloring and painting the sides, so my hands aren't weird colors on the sides. I'm taking the coal color and I'm painting all of my bats, but I didn't want them like black, because the other bats that I have that actually have a pattern on them that are fussy cut from a piece of paper had that charcoal gray black-ish to them, and so I wanted all the rest of my blacks. But I did end up finding 3 bats that were gray, like I shimmer gray, and so I thought, no, I want them all to be the same. All right, and then I took one of the cardstocks, or one of the printed papers that were white on the other side, because I was too lazy to go find white scrap of paper, and went ahead and used that to punch out my drippy goo. There's the print on the other side. It's just a spider web. And then I was going to paint them red, but for some reason it wasn't taking the color. So I had to spray it and then set it off dry and then spray it again. And I think I did it about 3 times to get the color I was looking for. All right, so here's my first go around. I don't record everything because it was quite a process. Now, I did like this look, but then halfway through painting them, I realized, oh, I can still see blue. I can still see yellow. I can still see, no, I don't want that. So now I'm trying to color the sides with just the paint, and I realize that's not going to work. So off to the side, I try again, and then, like I said, I do end up coloring the gesso, so that way the sides of them do have a little bit of coloring and they're not stark white. All right, so I'm going to just try to figure out how to arrange my photos, and I do realize that my horizontal photos are different sizes, but the way that I have them arranged on my layout are by where they are in my home. So the left page is if you're standing, at the front door, they'll be on your left. And then if you're standing at the front door, everything on the right page is on the right of the house. So that is kind of how I set up my, where I wanted my photos, and I didn't want to really mix them around. So now I'm just trying to figure out my paper. Like, how do I incorporate torn paper? I really want to use up these strips because I only had, 24 of them to pick from. I didn't, but, it feels like it because I had a ton of these branding strips and they were all the same. They were all these stars and stripes, which I don't remember ever buying that many, because normally Close to My Heart papers come in 2 in a pack. So how did I end up with 4 of these strips? There's no way. But I do, and I ended up with 6 of those star strips. So I have no idea, to be honest. I just know they're super old and they needed to be used up. So I'm going to go ahead and make it look like I have a striped paper going on both sides of my photo. And so basically it's going to look like I have a pattern paper behind my photos and their mats. And then, of course, I'm going to build up a border working into my layout on the right side of my photos for the left page and on the left side of my photos for the right page. Now, because this takes quite a bit of time, I only do the border strips. On the side, I don't show ripping the paper and adding it to the photos in the center of my layout. The video was long, you guys. I mean, it's 25 minutes already, so it's pretty long as is, and it's been cut out. But I do leave a bunch of stuff in here because I make a ton of mistakes, and I wanted to share that with you guys. This glitter paper that I am convinced now for sure that it came from Stampin' Up! Is easily tearable. So that is how I am convinced that it's Stampin' Up! Plus, it doesn't flake off. Like, it's not getting all over my project, which I love that about Stampin' Up's glitter paper. Sometimes it's they have a shimmer paper and it's double-sided. So the hardest part is deciding, do you want to use the shimmer orange, the shimmer black, the shimmer purple? And it's just so cool because both sides are equally worth using. So anywho, back to the layout. I really liked the fact that I added this torn glitter. It's not too much. It's not too little. It just adds to the fact that some of my elements in my home for the decorations are glitter as well. So I think that's pretty cool. I have a set of chains. They're hard to describe, but they are very glittery. And every year I shake them out because they just get everywhere. They're very, very glittery, but they're not solid chains. They're like a mesh of some sort, and then they were molded into chains. I don't know, you guys, but they're the coolest thing ever. And I love finding. Oh, you can see the chains in that one photo on the right. Anyways, but I love finding unique stuff like that. I really do. I have a tree that I made several years ago, and I'm talking like 2009 years ago. And it's like a Christmas tree, but it's dead and has Halloween decorations on it. So, but it's microscopic, you guys. It's probably not even a foot tall. But I still enjoy putting it up. My husband found me a Ouija board, but it's actually just a piece of canvas. And then somebody took black paint and like a stencil and put the Ouija part on it and then glittered it all up. So that gets everywhere too. My kids always tell me, I'm allergic to glitter, Mom. Don't make me help. But I don't want their help. I love decorating for Halloween. Now, Christmas, on the other hand, Christmas for some reason seems like a chore when I decorate. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is. And maybe it's because I don't get to pretend like I'm a mad scientist, or maybe I don't get to pretend, that I've got creepy pictures of Aunt Betsy. And when you walk by her, she goes, I mean, yeah, Santa Claus doesn't do cool stuff like that. I'm just saying. But anyways, I want the kids to help me for Christmas. But when it comes to Halloween, back up. This is my holiday. I have a spice jar that I bought long time ago. And I'm talking in the 90s, you guys. And I decorated it using some Stampin' Up! Stuff from many, many moons ago. But I love it because they look like little test tubes. And I've never used the spices inside. In fact, I don't even know what they are anymore. But it still has the exact same spices from when I bought it to begin with. All right, so I thought I would add a little bit more paper to this one side over here. And by the time I was done, I was like, no, I'm good. I really like my drippy goo. It covers up the gap because I didn't realize that my photos weren't true 6x4. And then also I wanted to cover up my Funko Pop, which is just the little toy that I have in my cupboard. Yes, I collect toys, but they're only How to Train a Dragon toys. I have all the little baby mini figurines, which are just the cutest things ever. And then my daughter found this toothless bobblehead, which I think they're called Funko Pops. I actually have quite a few of them, but I was trying to cover him up because he's not scary and he doesn't go with my Halloween decorations. I just add to my curio when I am adding my Halloween. Like, I don't take everything out just to add my Halloween goodies. I like the fact that I've got all these potions and bottles and things that are super scary or have scary names and things like that. Added to my candlesticks or added to, whatever else I had in the cabinet at the time. And so it just is such a fun addition. It really is. I've got eyeballs in a jar, you guys. I've got, I think I have some sort of milky, yucky liquid. I don't know. It's super fun. It really is. Like I said, if I was to do that with elves and Santa Claus, it just would look creepy. So I'm just kind of filling in the dead space up here on this shelf. The shelf was new this year, but I ended up with some sort of sprig that has a spider web and a couple little what is that candy called? The 3-colored candy, corn something. it had those instead of this, the circle little berries that are usually in sprigs, which I thought was a fun little addition to the play on Halloween. And so I'm just trying to cover up what isn't Halloweeny, like my pictures of my children, like super old pictures. I don't even know why they're up there. A canvas that I made my husband, just super fun stuff, but they're not Halloweeny. And so I'm trying to cover them up and draw your attention to what is. My daughter bought me these string of lights that are chandeliers. They're little mini chandeliers. And so I strung those up over my curtains, and then down on my desk, I have little buckets of stuff and candlesticks and things like that. A candelabra that has bats wrapped around it, and just super fun stuff. I just really enjoy decorating for this particular Halloween. I made, I think, was it this holiday? I don't remember. Anyways, I love garlands. It's my jam. And so I've got lots of garlands all over. I've got my chains. I've got my creepy photos, which I actually, by the end of the first day, I have to turn them off because even this is 2021, and even my kids are like, "Mom, those are creepy." Like, I get up in the middle of the night to get a drink, and I've got Aunt Betsy going, at me. They're like, "No, it's got to go." So so I end up turning Aunt and Uncle off, which it's been funny. My oldest daughter, named them Aunt and Uncle a long, long time ago. But when you move, it's kind of like the haunted house, kind of characters. When you move, they go from, the sophisticated old time photos to totally creepy zombies. And like I said, when I have to put them up super high because as they've got like a sensor. And so when you move around, they make noises and they're so creepy. In fact, I've never changed the batteries on them. And I put them in the box, and my kids will go out to get the Christmas stuff and they're still talking to them. It's so fun. So anyways, I've got my title. Now, I took that Halloween word from the Simple Stories paper pieces, and I fussy cut them all out because I just didn't like that big old huge white border. And they were such simple letters to cut out. It didn't take hardly any time. I also trimmed around the hearts that I picked out as well. I like the fact that one of the hearts is a row of pumpkins. I thought that added to my 31. And then I also have the word pumpkins pointing to, it's almost like 31 pumpkins. But the border strip down in the center of my photo, or my photo cluster, I couldn't fussy cut around that one as well. And so I just basically took some brown ink that was on my desk and went ahead and inked the edges to make it look like it wasn't so white of a border. So I'm going to go ahead and put those. I debated not putting that in the middle, but the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I really like how clustered this is. I really do. I'm using every element to fill in and bring your eyes around the layout. So you look at the photo, then you trickle down the elements, then you look at more photos, then you trickle over to more elements. And each element is bringing your eyes into all the stuff I have to decorate with. Now, I did, there are a few other walls that I have not ever taken pictures of. Like I have a sign that says park your broom here, or broom parking $5, things like that. And then I have lots of brooms, and I don't mean my house brooms. Like I have these really cool old creepy broomsticks that are made from sticks and twigs and things like that. So I've got quite a broom collection. But then to go with my broom collection, I have quite a hat collection. I have 4 witches hats that I absolutely love adding to my decoration. This year I've only got 3 because my daughter actually wore one of them. So here is one of the mistakes that I'm going to be making. I did make a mistake cutting apart my labels underneath the Halloween, but I am not done adding my Shimmerz paints. So I've got this orange paint that I am going to be splattering. but I don't have enough of my masks. So as soon as I moved my mask, I bumped my bottle and dumped it all over my left side of my page. Yes, I did. So I'm going to frantically start cleaning it up and picking it up. And oh my gosh, I am trying to save what little elements I can. I'm going as fast. I end up taking that whole cluster apart and figuring out what I can save as far as, oh, oh my goodness. So I'm taking a baby wipe and wiping everything up. I thought, okay, well, I'll just get past what I'm doing here and I'll go reprint the photos. But by the time that I'm done, to be honest, the photos looked pretty good. And I was able to save most of the cluster. Now, my little spider that I had to take away and my label that I had to take away, they definitely didn't get saved. But the drippy goo on the underside ended up turning out really well. Now, my little hands, I broke one of them, and then they turned orange. So I'm going to try to save them again. And I'm off to the side drying my photo, hoping that I can save it. But if not, I planned on reprinting my photos, but I don't have anything else. Like, I don't have the pieces and elements to recreate this page again. So what am I going to do? I'm going to wing it. So I'm going to add a little bit more of my red ink. I think this one is my Bleeding Heart. So I'm going to add a little bit more to that, wait for it to dry, set it off to the side, and then bring my paper back and just keep moving on. You guys, it happened. It did what it did. I do have a little bit of warping going on, but I do end up not changing the photos. They cleaned up and wiped up really well. That one side of the striped paper is very orange and it does look really warpy right now. But once it is fully dry, because right now it is not fully dry, I'm just trying to keep moving on. Keep adding in. Now these are the thunderstorm splatters that I am adding. And I just wing it, but I do leave it out overnight. I do end up adding the rest of the splatter back in over on, to cover up that gap over on the left side of my 31 tag and where I'm adding this little hand. So I do end up adding that back on. Later, I'm not sure if I take the photos now or after because I don't like that gap. It's definitely sticks out, but in the end, the page lays pretty flat. And other than the big old glob of orange on my striped orange piece, it turned out really well. I'm okay with how it all cleaned up. Now my hands did end up in two different colors on this one side because it is a lot oranger, but I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with the fact that they're not as red as I wanted them to. But overall, it all got cleaned up and I was able to save the layout. Whew, thank goodness. But I can't believe that. I have to get a whole new bottle basically because of the fact that I practically spilled that whole thing. So the photos don't show me putting the drippy goo back, but I do end up saving that as well and putting it back on the layout to cover up that gap, even though you don't see it. But all in all, I love how this layout turned out. I really did. All right, you guys, be sure to check out the Shimmerz website to go and see what paints are available. She comes out with brand new paints every month, especially in the color kit. The color kit is a great bang for your buck, so you definitely want to go and check those out. The link is down below for her website. Well, it's not a website, it's a shopping site, as well as a link to the blog and all that good stuff. Also, too, don't forget to check out the link down below for Scraptember, and I will check y'all later. Thank you, guys. See ya.